Hey, it's me, GBD, and welcome back to Nice the Geek Table. I'm here with John, and no Cody.
No, but
um,
he couldn't get on board the Stranger Things train, so we left him behind.
we left him back in season one. He gets no references, but we're like I guess you figured by the hat, the title, the thumbnail, basically everything that made you click on this video. We're going to talk about Stranger Things. Is it season 2 or 2?
I would say season two,
Okay,
but
season 2
yeah, I don't know.
of Stranger Things, and we're going. So, one thing I gotta say, I feel like season 2 was like one of Cody's complaints about why he stopped watching it was it was slow at the beginning. Yes, it
Hmm.
was a little slow at the beginning, but it picked up for season 1. Season 2 just boom right in.
Yeah, definitely. Well, season two. Well, here I'll ask this: do you think season two was better than the first, or do you even want to do a comparison? Or
I've been thinking about this for the past week.
hmm
Um, while I felt like it flowed better than season 1 from beginning to end.
yeah, I
It
would.
I didn't have that pump feeling quite as much finishing season 2 than when I did finishing season 1.
Yeah, I would say. And any newcomer watching this video, this is spoilers.
Yeah.
Uh, the I didn't really care much for the for Eleven's story in this season. I felt like the season itself flowed pretty well until it would cut back to. Well, actually, not even when she was living with Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problem with that. That's
No.
actually those are some of my favorite scenes. But
Exactly.
when she leaves and goes to where'd she go, Chicago or something?
She goes to her mother, and then she goes to Chicago to
Yeah, I
her
honestly didn't really care for
sister.
those because at that point too, the rest of the story had started to pick up back at the town.
And then when you cut to 11, it wasn't
Yeah.
really
She was
building.
with I don't know, these '80s punk kids, and I'm like, I don't really care about that.
I completely agree with you. When she was with Hopper, it was some of the best moments
Oh
and
yeah, that was
enjoyable
great.
scenes. But as soon as she left, I only wanted to focus on the town because that's what the story was really pushing.
At that point, I think actually at that point, I mean, by the time because when she decides to go back is at the moment when like all of the when they realize I don't even what is that called, the rip or whatever.
Rip Gate. It's called a couple different things.
Yeah, when they realize that it's like really freaking big and there's all these like demodogs and shit or whatever.
Basically, the
Uh,
upside down vagina.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that's when they realized, and that's all. And when it started to pick up, and then I was like, I really don't care about 11. Go away.
yeah,
At that point, I think it's better when she is in the town, like with Hopper or with the guys.
yes.
Like, I don't really care for her when she's out on her own.
And that was the thing. Like a lot of season 1 was great because one, it picked up like each episode. It got more dramatic, more dramatic, more dramatic, and because 11 was there, you have that iconic van flip scene and all
Mhm.
that where they're on the bikes.
Yep,
But she, I 11. Honestly, I didn't feel like 11 was as important.
she wasn't. She really wasn't. I mean, she
She
yeah,
caused the climax, but that was it.
yeah, she has actually. I mean, if you think about it, she has nothing to do with the entire story until like the last episode or last two episodes.
Yeah.
She shows up, breaks the one dog's neck, and then closes the rift. But other than
Other than
that,
that, no.
she really has nothing to do with it.
I did enjoy all the Hopper this season.
Yeah, Hopper's great. I mean, he was one of my favorite characters from the first season. I was glad to see more of him
Yeah.
this season.
And I love the little tie-ins that kind of make you think he was in Vietnam.
I didn't catch those. What little? What,
So, there's a box under the Hopper's the house that leads to something that he said back in season 1, and then he can fix tripwires and all that. And when Joyce and him were leaving after Will's evaluation, um, he was saying because Joyce was like, it was like PTSD, and he was like, PTSD is a real thing. You don't even know about it.
You know
So
what? That makes sense. I had just assumed, I just assumed that he was just smart enough to make those stuff and like the tripwires and stuff just right off the bat,
yeah,
and second that he was just like he had known people. But I guess that makes better sense that he had actually been in the war or something.
I mean, it would explain a lot about his personality too.
Yes, it would. No, I didn't catch that. That's actually pretty good. I would say there's as a flaw for the season though. I felt that like the what is it? What are they calling it? The mind flare,
Yeah, the Mind Flayer, the big
which
villain.
it was the big it was the big antagonist to the series, but or to the season, but and probably the next season. But nothing really. You didn't really get, huh?
I thought he was like, yes, he kind of came out at 11, but I thought like his whole head and something was gonna push out, and as he was trying to get out, to get into this
I was
world.
hoping that I was just hoping that we have more direct engagement with him because everything is like the tunnels from the upside down are coming out, but and then he has the demodogs, but they're not like you don't get really much direct contact with him.
Yeah.
I was expecting because you had Will basically almost possessed by him.
Yeah.
I was assuming that you'd have almost be able to directly have a conversation with them and he was actually possessed, but really it wasn't like that. It was kind of he was under his influence, but he wasn't really. So I don't know, but otherwise I thought it was all right. I gotta say what is his name? The human villain for this season, the Max's brother.
Yeah.
What did you think of him?
The Red Ranger.
Yeah, the Red Ranger. When he showed up, his name is Billy, which is the Ranger, and I was like,
And he has a mullet.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, he was just he was there to be an ass, but it's just I don't know. At the end of the day, he just showed up and got injected with shit, and then he passed out, and then I was like, all right, and then
That
they
was
left
it.
him. Yeah, and I was like, well,
and there was a thing with Mike's mom a little bit, and that was creepy.
Yeah, for 2 seconds, but that was just because, yeah, that was creepy.
It was creepy.
But it's creepy, but it makes sense though, because that guy's his character is I can assume that he would use people like that.
Yeah.
And try to influence his mom, but the fact that his mom was so anyway, I don't even want to.
No, let's not go to this. Go somewhere else. Let me think. What did you think of Max?
I don't really like her, honestly.
You don't really like her?
I mean, having said, I don't dislike her.
Yeah.
But it's there's nothing that she did or really said that made me oh, I really like this new character. It's okay, she's part of the group now. I'm okay with that, but not oh, I really like her. Only because she spends a whole lot of time just kind of being a jerk, which makes sense for her character given her background. But there was just nothing there for me to really grasp onto. And then there was that entire period as well where oh goodness, what's his name? The black group member.
Oh, wait, what the fuck is his name? Is it Caleb?
No, that's so stupid because I should know. Hold on. Stranger. I'm not going to just continue and not know. Stranger Things cast. Lucas. It's Lucas.
Why the fuck did I say Caleb?
No, I honestly I couldn't remember so there was that entire time period where Lucas is trying to convince her that all this stuff's real and she's not believing them, and it was just all this time there really wasn't much that I liked about her that made me want to be okay, yeah, I really enjoy her.
Yeah,
but
I get that. I felt like it was good build up for more of her next time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Well, here, I'll let you finish your thought.
Yeah, it was good build up for her next time, but unfortunately, we didn't see enough of her to really get a good development of her. While some development did go on, that's one of the great things about Stranger Things. Character development is throughout, but it didn't didn't really develop her fully. It just got her to a good point for to start off the next season. But overall, I think she was important to have because like when you first hear Max, not even know who she is, you just know Max. Um, it's basically a person that is like, because you think these kids, oh, they're the best. They're the best because they're the Stranger Things kids. But then when all their high scores are taken over because of Max, it's like it's kind of leaves that impression. Oh, they can be beaten. For going on to the rest of the story, because then Will gets possessed, and he starts.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought of it that way. I don't know. I just kind of assumed that she was just that was them. I assumed that the reason like her coming in and beating all their high scores and things like that was just the show trying to introduce her and say that she's cool. Try to make her interesting or cooler.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. The only thing that I felt like they were really setting up with her was that like when Eleven saw her with Mike, and
I wish that went farther.
Well, that's the thing. Like it culminates when she shows up and like she tries to shake her hand and she doesn't and she walks away and then that's it. There was never any like conclusion to that.
I honestly wish 11 would have saw more like throughout a couple different episodes.
But to build up that.
So when they finally did meet, it wasn't just that one tiny moment.
Yeah, but that's what really bothers me. It's like you mentioned that they were basically setting her up for next season, and they're probably going to probably address that whole 11 not liking her in the next season too, probably.
But this season had a whole extra episode, so it shouldn't.
I just don't like how they're like they've already got because the first season was almost entirely self-contained.
Yes.
This season, it's very obvious. I mean, there was still a satisfying climax and ending.
Yeah.
But it's obviously they were setting up for a third season because the Mind Flayer is not defeated.
No, he was staring over that school like, "Hey, bitch, yeah. I'm here."
So it'll be interesting. Also, I got some information on the Mind Flayer because stuff they don't really talk about in the show.
Okay.
On like what he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be interesting. And I wonder like, do you think in the next season they'll be having to because there was pretty much an army of Demodogs in this.
There was.
Do you think by the time he comes back in the next season he'll have an army of Demogorgons?
That'd be interesting, and that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did you think of the Demodogs? I keep every time I hear Demodogs, I think of Demodome.
Yeah, Demodome Corp. Yeah, every time I say it, I'm like, But,
yeah, Doug Demodome here with the Demodogs.
I loved Dustin in this season.
Yes,
but
Dustin was great.
But his decision to keep, what did he call it?
Flake. Hold on.
All right, gives it you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The little Gorgon.
Yeah.
To keep it, I thought was just like was odd. It was dumb.
Oh, that was really dumb.
It is like because I think became very obvious very quickly that it was from the Upside Down, and like he really should he should have been like especially yeah, and especially even after his like no. I don't know. I just thought I didn't really suit his character because after the encounter with the Demogorgon and everything, and it was only after Dart, only after it killed his cat that he was like, all right, well maybe.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Also, so, what do you think? Do you think Nancy should be with Jonathan or Kevin? Or is it Steve? Excuse me, not Kevin, Steve.
I would say Jonathan.
I actually liked Steve a lot more this season.
Steve, I like Steve more.
Yeah, well,
he was a better character.
Well, Steve was like kind of supposed to be kind of a throwaway character in the first season, but they never, and then they actually started to went forward with him a bit.
And him with Dustin was amazing.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, the first season, Nancy and Jonathan worked. Like, you could see, okay, yeah, they're probably better together than her with Steve. But then in season 2, though, especially in the beginning, I think like Steve is genuinely, I think, was probably better than Jonathan in a lot of ways, in my opinion. Like, I just felt like Steve was more able to, like, he stepped up. He was, protecting the kids. He was being, he was really being really cool. It could work. Meanwhile, Jonathan was just kind of very passive this season. He didn't really do a lot.
Yeah, he was. But so was Nancy. That's the thing. Nancy was very passive this season.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
but even then, at the end, where like when they're in the buyer's house, and the Demodogs are closing in. And like on Hopper's like he's got that 22 rifle. Is like to Jonathan, can you use this? And he cowers and like he hesitates, and then Nancy's like, oh, I can use it, and she grabs it or whatever. Like that to me was just kind of the epitome of it, because Jonathan, that's first off, it's his house, that's his gun, and you saw him in season 1 using firearms. He can very damn well use that gun, but then
there's something about that gun though. That gun came out the shed. That was the same gun that Will was trying to load when he got taken to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan could be thinking that.
Well, what does the gun have to do with that?
That's my only connection. That's the only way I got to explain it.
I don't know. I just think he was
He was a little cowardly.
He was just... Hey, I didn't particularly like him this season. I preferred Steve.
In this season, you could prefer Jonathan. It's just back and forth thing. But what about Muse? Rest in peace, Muse. That fucking cat.
Oh, I forgot. Like, I forgot that's cat. Yeah.
The mom is still out there looking for that fucking cat.
Oh, I felt bad. Like I was like, I don't know. Like I felt bad for the cat, because you never want to see the pet killed.
No. And then Dustin's just like, yeah, Mom, I heard he's on the other side of town. Like, oh, that was so horrible.
Yeah, I know. He should have done it to where, like, I think they ended up, like, burying the cat somewhere.
Dustin buried him without even telling his mom.
I would have done it differently. I would have just had her, like, put her out in the yard somewhere, cover in some bushes, like, because it maybe looked like some animal got her, and then we're like, oh, Mom, I found the cat. It was eaten by this animal. Just so like, she could get some, like, conclusion.
Yeah. Just thinking Muse is out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was I honestly, because I knew Dustin made a wrong decision, I screamed, "You done fucked up!" when I saw him eating the cat, because I was like, "No, not the cat," because that was fucking horrible. Because you like see the whatever you call lips of the Demodog inside the cat. That was just, oh.
Well, I was just like, once it sprouted legs and it started to like have a mouth and like kind of roar a bit, when it was still tiny,
I thought it was going to be a full-on Demogorgon.
Well, I think they are going to be. I think that they're implying that given more time, all of those dogs will become Demogorgons.
Okay.
Which would be interesting. I don't know. They finally got justice for Barb, kinda.
Oh my god. Okay. How about that KFC scene though?
It's Steve. It's finger looking good.
And okay, I'm sorry, Barb's dad would have been me, because I would have been he was just munching down on the chicken, like going to fucking town. Just finger looking good. Oh my god, that was great. Okay.
Now we need justice for Muse? Oh goodness, what was his name? Was it David? Dave?
Bob.
Mrs. Byers was seeing him?
Bob.
Will's stepdad, kinda?
Bob.
It was Bob. Justice for Bob. He didn't deserve that shit.
No, it was like he was walking out, and I was like, I hate what's gonna happen, because I know
the camera angle changes and it moves back slowly, panning out.
I know it's gonna happen. I'm like, I don't want it to happen. And then it just panned above him while they were just eating on him.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, Oh my god.
Wait, because he makes it, but then the music stops, and then the camera changes, and I'm like, oh no,
Not Bob. Not Bob.
not Samwise.
Bob. Bob was the owner of the Radio Shack. Like,
Yeah,
no.
he was superhero Bob. Did you catch that? The little picture of him that they had up on the wall in the school. Yeah, I'm glad he was like. I was afraid that they were gonna have him like, oh, he's the nice boyfriend, but then he's gonna turn out to be evil or something.
That'd have been fucked up.
Yeah, something like, or he was gonna end up being a complete dunce or something. But I like the fact that he was just a genuinely good person who wanted. He wasn't perfect, but he was just a good person who wanted to do the right thing.
That moment that fucking broom fell out the closet, I was like, what the fuck have you done, Bob?
That reminded me of a scene in Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one, where he's in the broom closet. Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember it. I was like, oh, it's always the damn broom closet.
I love how they just made the broom fall in slow-mo.
Uh-huh.
Because it was like, there was a lot of great things about this season, and it was really well done, but I don't know, I like the self-containment of season 1.
Yeah, I agree. I think they probably could have just cut out the entire that entire 11 subplot with those kids, the 80s punks or whatever.
One was supposed to be her sister?
Yeah, I could have gone without that.
I didn't need that. Like, when the first episode started, and, like, they introduced the other person with powers, that seemed like it was going to be a good setup.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, the cop saw that the bridge was collapsing, but it really didn't. Like, I felt like, okay, this has got me interested. There's more people with powers. Maybe they'll come to the town to help whatever the fuck happens. But it was just wasted, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was... I don't know.
Wasted.
I just kind of... I don't really have a strong opinion on it, other than the fact that I felt like we could have just gone without it.
I mean, wasn't it a whole episode?
Yeah.
Of just 11 in Chicago?
Like moving a train and running around with people.
Okay, I figured she could do that anyway.
Yeah.
Why did we need it?
I'm curious at what point do they stop getting nosebleeds whenever they use their powers?
I know. It's like that nose is just crusted with blood.
Yeah, I'm just like, at some point you feel like the body would get used to it or something.
You would think so. But no.
I think it was originally there. I think they were originally doing that so that the audience could tell when the powers were being used. So there was a visual indicator. But we get it now. I don't think we need to. When shit starts to levitate, we got it.
The fucking temper tantrum with Hopper, though, that was badass. Like, she stops that book midair and throws it back and then breaks.
Well, I was actually kind of scared for it. It was funny because Hopper stands his ground and keeps yelling, and I was like, Hopper, she could kill you. Like, get out of there.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, do you know what the fuck she can do?
Mm-hmm. And she straight up snaps people's necks in the first season.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck, Hopper?
No, and Hopper stands his fucking ground.
Hopper doesn't give a shit. Hopper doesn't give a fuck. Other than he will fucking try to guilt your ass. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting here eating candy all alone.
Well, that's kind of like the standard parent thing, though.
But that was, I mean, he took it for a loop. Like, this is really unhealthy. I'm probably gonna die or something because this shit is unhealthy. Like, he really went full out with that shit. What did you like about how they dressed up for Halloween?
Oh, it was Ghostbusters? Well, I mean,
they actually went all out.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies. Ghostbusters is one of the two movies that were my childhood, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like the Ghost. I mean, it was great when they show up at school and they realize that nobody else is in costume.
I understand that, but it happened to someone else, and it was 11th grade.
Oh.
One of my friends dressed up as Star Trek in 11th grade. Showed up.
Well, at that point, when you're in 11th grade, I think you're old enough to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna own it. Whatever, I'll do it.
Full on costume. I'm like, It's not Spirit Week. It's just fucking Halloween, and it was a Thursday. It's like it wasn't even a Friday, so you could enjoy the shit.
Poor guy.
I know, Star Trek of all places. Like I feel like if you showed up as a Ghostbuster, you're more like accepted
Mm-hmm.
than a Captain Kirk off of Star Wars.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. God damn it! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know the hate comments have already plowed through.
By the way, I'm interested in, like, I don't really understand how Will's powers work in this season, and I say powers loosely. The fact that he can like snap into the Upside Down.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
The thing is, though, like, it's been previously established that the Upside Down, it's a place, and you actually have to travel there.
Yeah.
Right. And the only other person who could go there while not traveling there was 11 because she has psychic powers.
And she's not fully there.
Yeah, she's not even fully there.
Because
but with
it's
Will,
just black.
But with Will, it's weird because he's not only does he completely get transported to the Upside Down, but he's also still in our world.
Yeah, that confused me.
And so I'm just sitting there like, well, okay, well, I guess it would make sense if he could just kind of see into the Upside Down, but then the Mind Flayer has
interacted.
It
was raping all his holes.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't understand how this works.
Yeah, but, I mean, the video camera even, like, it recorded him just walking out in the middle of the street while everyone's sitting there staring at him like...
But it also caught, like, the outline of the Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer. And I'm like... I was really confused about that because I'm like...
Yeah. How did it do that?
Literally, when Hopper goes into the Upside Down through the pumpkin farm, he literally has to jump down into a hole. When Eleven escapes the Upside Down from the school from last season, she literally has to go through the wall. When the end, when the cameras rotates completely upside down to show the upside down version of the school and the Mind Flayer over it, like it doesn't tie in to what's already been set up.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really. It was a neat idea, but I'm just like, I don't know how much that makes sense.
Because once the Mind Flayer interacted with him and like he was interacting with stuff there, it completely changed the dynamics. Because before, he was just like he walked out the arcade, yes, but I thought it was just like vision.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like he was still in the real world, but he could see the Upside Down. Yeah, he wasn't actually there.
Yeah, that's what I meant by vision.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought, and I kind of thought it confirmed that when he went to the lab and they said it was PTSD type stuff. So I kind of figured it was visions. That's what he's seen. But then when he started interacting with stuff and the Mind Flayer interacting with him, I was like, no, it's not. But
I'm like, I don't know how that works, but I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty good season. Although, another inconsistency would be like, the Demodogs are pretty easily killed with like firearms.
Yeah, while the Demogorgon was not.
Yeah, the Demogorgon, like, he could take like magazines of ammunition and keep cooking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I assume that was just kind of a feature of being part like from the Upside Down or something.
Yeah.
But then obviously now the dogs can just be killed pretty easily.
Yeah, and I watched the special, like, kind of like the Talking Dead version for Stranger Things. Beyond.
I watched a little bit of it.
I watched a little bit. I didn't watch it all, but they were talking about how season 1 they used a lot of practical effects. So like the Demogorgon was an actual dude in a costume that they just kind of CGI'd over top, and all. But most of the time it was the actual Demogorgon costume that they just brushed up. But this season the Demodogs were just CGI, and it showed. Because there was a lot of moments where that CGI stood out.
Yeah, it didn't really like a couple of times when they were like early on when they only thought, for example, there was only one Demodog. They kept it like when it escaped from Dustin's basement. Remember that scene in the junkyard on the bus?
Yeah.
When he shows up, it's like it's hidden by the fog, and it actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But once you get like up close to it, it doesn't look very good. The CGI does not, because I mean, actually, all of these Netflix series. Because there's a show. Have you ever seen Mindhunter on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
You have seen it?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen the whole thing?
I am halfway through it.
Okay. Great show.
Yeah. So far, so great.
Yeah. It doesn't really. Well, I don't want to spoil anything for you. It's a good show. Have you gotten to? This isn't a spoiler. Have you gotten to a scene where the characters are in a car accident?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
When they're in the Pinto and they get T-boned.
Yeah.
That was CGI, and I didn't think it looked very good.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
It did, and that's all of these Netflix shows are great because they seem to all do live action mostly. But when they do a little bit of CGI, it does not look good.
No, and one moment in particular, like when Dart was small.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it as much because I was like, okay, it's a little small thing, fine, whatever. And at times it did look like it was there. But then when Dart grew legs and ate the cat, and Dustin was trying to get him out the house, that moment he walked outside, that was the shittiest thing I've ever seen because you clearly could tell, like it literally looked like you copy and paste the SpongeBob animation on top.
Yeah, I was like, I just feel like the show is doing really well. Obviously, they had a bigger budget this season. You guys should really invest in getting some better CGI.
Well, that's the one thing. Like they talked about in the Beyond Stranger Things, season 1 of Stranger Things was CGI was done by one person, and it was part-time one person. But it was basically to edit kind of the 11 stuff and it was basically to erase the strings on some of the things, and then the clean up the Demogorgon costume to make it look more realistic. But this year they actually hired a team for CGI, and I'm like, it was better with that one person who was part time.
Well, they just don't like. It's obvious that they didn't like. I don't know. I don't know if it's the budget or just like. I don't even know what to say because I don't really know the technicalities of it.
Yeah.
I could just see that they were doing like. I've seen behind the scenes of like bigger budgets using CGI and stuff, and they'll use a lot of different various physical things. They'll use motion capture. They'll use they have light balls, which basically they'll put it in the scene, and so the computer can tell like how light should be reflecting off of stuff, and they can do it on. I get I don't know, but I get the impression they weren't doing any of that stuff.
Oh, clearly when Dart ran outside, when Dustin was trying to give him things.
It's very odd. They just filmed the scene and then later came back and just put it in. I think they should just. It's not that I don't even think they need a bigger budget on it, but they need to pay attention more to detail, really take it more seriously.
Yeah, because that's one thing that really pulled me out. Before that one scene with Dart coming outside and Dustin trying to lure him into the cellar, I was pretty much synced into the show. But that one moment, it just took me out so far that then I had to retry to get back in it because it was drastic.
Yeah, it's just not. It reminds me. The thing is, like, it reminds me of the CGI you'd see on like high quality like YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But I expect a little bit more from this.
And Stranger Things, because I would have understood it if this was season 1. But this is season 2, and you've shown me you did better in season 1. So I don't know. Is there anything else?
I would just say a lot of good things in it. A lot of some not so great. Yeah. I don't know if I would consider it. I don't really know if I would say it's better or worse than the first season. I'm just like they exist almost separately to me. Obviously they're connected, but it's just I would say that they're about season 1 and 2 are about on par. I hope because it's obviously going to be making a season 3. I hope season 3 is better and they have some fun finality to it or so because this has a conclusion and an end, but not really.
No. Stranger Things is my favorite Netflix show, and I loved it. See, I mean, there's a lot of things worse than season 2 of Stranger Things, and
Mm.
if this was the
Like,
worst they could do,
like Death Note.
if this is the worst Stranger Things team can do on those moments, I'd be fine because I still didn't hate it. I still loved the season. Um, I can't really I can't compare it to season 1 and 2. I can't compare them that
Mhm.
much because season 1 was something special because it was hidden. No one expected it, and it was big when it
Yep.
and everyone already was built up for hype for season 2. So I mean, it didn't have that. Oh my god, this is amazing, and not okay. I know I was about to end it, but I this popped in my head. Season 1 was self-contained, but it was more of a mystery
Hmm.
than sci-fi
That's true.
because like you had the body of Will show up and it was stuffed. You find out it's stuffed and all, and like those were great moments, like iconic scenes and all. What's the name of an iconic scene in season 2 that didn't that was big?
Yeah, I don't think it was as emotionally impactful actually as the
Yeah.
first season. I mean, I can remember like one of my favorite scenes actually in the first season is when the buyers when the fake will is discovered
Yeah.
and the buyers are told, and you have I forgot what song that is. A cover of "We Can Be Heroes."
Mm-hmm.
When that plays, that was such a very emotional, and that was the ending of that particular episode. And I just really liked that that scene, and just also the kind of progression of like of Hopper, especially in that first season, where he's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of a cop who really doesn't give a shit. But then you can tell that he actually does care when this stuff starts to become fishy.
Yeah.
Um, I just didn't get. I mean, all the characters are great still in the second season, but I just didn't get. I didn't feel
The
the
emotional.
punch. Yeah, the emotional weight or anything to it. It
Yeah.
didn't.
And that was something until it just dawned on me thinking of the Will body scene that it's good, but it didn't have that emotional punch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were going more sci-fi for this season because of
Yeah.
like big monster, demodogs.
Well, I also was kind of disappointed they didn't really explain anything about like the upside down or anything. Like I know some stuff about the mind flayer, but that's because of what I've heard. I've seen interviews with the Duffer Brothers
Yeah,
who created the show.
it wasn't
That's
explained in the show.
yeah. No, nothing was explained. The upside down wasn't really explained at all. Because like there's questions I want to know. Like how does like when somebody builds a building in the town, does it just appear in the upside down, or how
Ooh,
does yeah, like how does that work? Um,
I
you know what
never
I?
thought about that.
Yeah, exactly.
What if a building gets torn down?
Does it disappear? What if somebody builds a building in the upside down? Does it appear in the real world? You know what I mean? Uh,
Holy!
yeah, like there's questions I have, and they're not answering any of them. But I do say this. So season 3, I would like to answer some questions about the upside down,
Mhm.
and they have to tread carefully with what they do, how they interact with it. Because if they do another thing with Will, is something's happening with Will, and then they have to cover the buyer's house and lights, and now it was pictures of the tunnels, or they can't do that again. You know what I mean?
I love all the Stranger Thing kids other than Will.
That's true. Well, yeah. Well, you didn't really think about it that much because in the first season because he was
He's
just gone
gone.
most of the time. But now you actually spend a lot more time with him, and he's. Uh,
Eh. I mean, I put Max above Will.
yeah. Well, what do you think? Mike was kind of the kids call him in that actor thing emo Mike, and he kind of was.
He was. I mean, he didn't tell me it didn't feel like Mike.
Yeah, he really did. It was Dustin and Lucas pretty much this season that were good. Uh, Mike was just kind of a dick a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's like he was having a tantrum because he didn't know where 11 was.
Yeah. Oh, also, there's one other character, the conspiracy theorist guy.
Oh God.
Well, he shows up at first like he was just kind of a nuisance, but then there's something about him at the end where he's sitting there in his camp chairs
yes,
on the government
drinking a beer.
And he's just like later, and the guy in the Jeep's just like
clicks them off.
Yeah, I liked his character.
It was a great character, and it was really well written.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly enjoyed those moments with him trying to solve the mystery because of how they could sue in court.
That's the thing. It was funny because it was like, "Oh, you don't believe us?" I was like, "Oh no, I believe you. It's just nobody else will believe you."
It was like, "Yeah, that's true." And then he's like, "We gotta water it down." And then he just gave some high schoolers alcohol at the end.
Yeah, he just let them he encouraged them to sleep together and then gave them alcohol when they left.
I was like, "What the fuck is this dude?" But yeah, I think Will has no development.
He has no character. I'm also worried about 11, not in the sense of her character, but Billy Bobby Brown, I think, is the actress's name.
Yes.
I haven't seen the range from her yet in this series. She seems to really only have she can get angry, she can get sad, and then she can do the standard 11, which is just kind of the blank face stare. I don't feel like I've seen a lot of range or emotion from her other than obviously she can cry or she gets angry. And I'm just I don't know if I'm cool with that in the next, if they keep going with that. I'd like to see her be a little more developed in the next season.
Hold up. There's something that you'll be able to see about her range because she is one of the main characters in the next Godzilla movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to the next Godzilla movie because I love Godzilla.
Godzilla King of Monsters. She is playing one of the main characters.
I like the original, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
2014 one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect, but I thought it was all right.
Yeah, the next one, it's gonna be good. And that's the thing with season 3, because of Stranger Things, a lot of the actors have other jobs.
Well, Mike's actor, he was in It, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in It. He was one of my favorite characters in It. And then you have It 2 coming up. Then you have Hellboy reboot.
Yeah, and
Hopper.
Yeah.
Hopper is Hellboy.
I'm not sure if I'm not in the sense I feel like I forgot Hopper's actor, whatever his name is. He could definitely do it. I was just hoping they would make the third Ron Perlman Hellboy movie. I was actually really looking forward to that, but they never did it. So.
Yeah, it is played by David Harbour.
Okay.
Yeah. He was actually in a goddamn James Bond movie.
Really? Well, the funny thing is when he was in, which one was he in?
Quantum of Solace. In 2008.
I know the movie. I'm just trying to think where he is.
He was in the Denzel Washington movie, The Equalizer. He was in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, I remember Suicide Squad. But
yeah.
Where was he in? You said he was in Quantum of Solace?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's why. Because I have not seen all of. I saw Quantum once to know it was bad, and then I never saw it again. So that's why I don't remember him in that movie. But yeah, it was funny because when he popped up in season 1, when you first meet him, I was like, I know him.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, getting them all together for season 3 is going to be interesting.
Yes,
because they might not be able to get all of them.
I think they will be. I think that all of those actors seem to really enjoy being on that show, and that was kind of like their beginning. And I don't think they're going to toss that away.
Sure.
Like no matter how much that freaking Harrison Ford hated Han Solo, he did come back.
He did, even 30 years later.
Yeah. I mean,
To die.
He came back only to die, but he came back. I'm actually, God, you mentioned Godzilla. I'm so excited for that movie.
Well, let's end on Stranger Things first. So,
yeah.
Final thoughts?
It was good. I'm hoping I think they need to really bring it though in season 3 they're capable of doing it, and I want them to do it. I don't think that they should I felt like season 2 is almost treading water in a sense.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I think they just need to bring it for season 3.
I completely agree. So, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this nice geek table. I know it went on a little bit longer.
What are we at?
We are at 46 minutes.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That's not horrible. Especially when we're talking about Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And like always, I will see you in the next one. Later.